day-long work trip to outer space unexpectedly turns into a 9-month-long mission. Well, after being stranded at the International Space Station since June last year, the two veteran NASA astronauts, Sunita Williams and Butch Willmore, are all set to return to Earth. The SpaceX Dragon, which blasted off from Kennedy Space Center in Florida last week, has already docked into the ISS on Sunday. And if all goes well, the rocket will bring the two American astronauts safely back to Earth by early morning on Wednesday, Indian Standard Time. But the final timing is still subject to change, depending on favorable weather conditions. Now, NASA and SpaceX officials recently met to evaluate the weather and the splashdown conditions off the coast of Florida for the return of the crew. So far, conditions look promising. However, this return window on March 19th remains critical because in case there is a delay, then the unfavorable weather expected later this week could impact their return. Now, the SpaceX rocket will start undocking by around 11 a.m. Indian Standard Time on Tuesday, but only if there's a clear go-ahead from the mission managers who will continue to monitor the weather conditions in the area as well as the readiness of the spacecraft and the recovery team on the ground and the sea. NASA and SpaceX will confirm their specific splashdown location closer to the Crew 9 return. Meanwhile, the new crew members have already completed their handover duties, with both Williams and Willmore waiting to return to their families here on Earth. It was clearly tough, but it also goes on to show the uncertainty and the challenges of any human space flight. The two astronauts had boarded Boeing Starliner test flight on June 5, 2024. And thought they would be back within 8 days. But soon after it docked into the ISS, it malfunctioned. There were issues with its thruster and there were helium leaks, which led NASA to declare that it wasn't safe to bring the crew back on the same rocket. Over the last 9 months, the two veterans have continued performing crucial science experiments and collected data, which will enhance our understanding of outer space. The two have already flown into space 2 times in the past, and the current expedition may likely be their last. So while there must be a lot of excitement to return to Earth, it's also a goodbye to outer space, which has been their home for the last 9 months. Once they are back, they'll probably be quarantined for some time and then undergo mandatory health tests. The prolonged stay in microgravity and the radiation exposure is likely to have some impacts on their muscle mass and body fluid distribution. Now, for over 2 decades, over 270 people from 21 countries have lived and worked aboard the International Space Station, which provides continuous year-round life support and habitation, making research breakthroughs not possible on Earth. The big microgravity lab has been orbiting the Earth at an altitude of 370 to 460 kilometers since the year 2000. And now we are all waiting for the return of the two astronauts back to Earth.